We've got Sean Spicer, Communications Director for the RNC, and Tony Welch, former DNC spokesman. Welcome to you both.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, I know both of you got to catch some of the president's speech, and he talked about the fact that some are playing politics with this. He said, so if during this political season you hear some question my support for Israel, remember it's not backed up by the facts. Tony, is it fair to provoke him to have to talk politics in the midst of this very, delicate relationship?
Of course fair, because there's a campaign going on, and it's going to be an issue. I think the president's main point is, if you follow every action he's taken that has been to support Israel, he's puzzled that the Republicans can even assert that he's done something less. On every critical step, the president has been fully behind Israel. And he's, I think, not puzzled, sometimes upset, and probably doesn't want it to be in the political realm. But I think the scary part he sees is there should be no rush to war. This is where it's important to be sober in your decision making. Saber rattling doesn't work so well in a country with the wars we've had in our history in Iraq. And so I think that is also fodder for our political discussion. But probably his strongest point is to say, if the sanctions are working, we've told and we've made it clear to Israel that we were with them all the way, then it should take away Eric Cantor's or anyone else's argument that he's been something less than that. That just doesn't ring true.
I would just say, I mean, you have to look no further than the Vice President of the United States. Vice President Biden, when speaking to a group of rabbis, said that this administration has made several missteps, whether it's the settlements or the negotiations from the 67 border. So the Vice President of the United States, Obama's running mate, is saying that, admitting that they have had some problems in dealing with Israel. The President himself has had had a very rocky relationship with Prime Minister Netanyahu. He's caught on an open mic speaking to President Sarkozy, talking about how it's difficult to deal with Netanyahu. So I thought the speech was rather defensive, trying to say, hey, anything that you think is there, don't pay attention to it. But I think further, you're seeing a lot of concern about how he's dealing with Iran. So I think there is a lot of concern in Israel about how this president and this administration has changed policy with Israel in terms of standing up for them.
Well, it seemed like this speech was well received by the group there at AIPAC, and he did use a lot of tough language, and some would see it as defensive. All right, let's turn to Super Tuesday, because I know that a lot of these folks, a lot of the GOP contenders are out there talking about this particular relationship. A lot of them get a lot of applause when they talk about their defense of Israel and what they'll do. But there are a lot of states and a lot at stake on Tuesday. Tony, how do you see this shaping up? Do you think one GOP contender emerges and the field coalesces, or is that just dreaming at this point?
Well, there's a dream. Mitt Romney has a dream that that it coalesces, and of course Rick Santorum and Newt Gingrich and Ron Paul have a dream that things don't look so clear and that things don't shape up. Here's the thing. Carl was in Ohio for a reason. They're watching that one state of all the others. Newt Gingrich has Georgia locked up. Santorum's doing very well in Tennessee. But what will Ohio show us? It's another chance for Romney to tell us, or to show us, that he can do well in what will be a swing state, in a state where it is close, where he has no natural advantage, which you could say was the case in Michigan. And so it doesn't mean that if Mitt Romney squeaks out a win in Ohio, that all of the angst on the right will go away just because he won there. And I think that you'll still have some people like George Will who are worried that Romney still can't close the deal.
Okay, I want to quickly give Sean
a
chance to respond.
We've had 6 states so far that have had delegates that have awarded delegates. On Super Tuesday, we're going to have 9, about 400 delegates at stake. So I don't know how it's going to shake out. But every week seems to be if Florida's going to be decisive, then Michigan's going to be decisive, and then Ohio's going to be decisive. So I think we've got some time letting this play out. Our enthusiasm gap is up 8% over the Democrats. In other words, more Republicans are engaged in this process, excited about our candidates and excited about November. I like where we are, and I think we're well poised to go on in November to win.
I'm quite sure you do. All right, Sean and Tony, thank you both very much. Always great to see you.
Thanks
for coming in.